think I'm good to go. Let me just check. And I think when I was rotating my phone, it accidentally went to the vertical mode. So let me just go back here and look at my channel and see what it says. And nope, that says, oh, there we are. I think I'm live. Okay, if you can hear me, please let me know in the chat box. That would be great. And if you're typing away, let us know where you're watching from. We're always happy to see our followers. And okay, I see Christina's got, yes, better, much better. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I see people are gathering on. So I am going to be making some kind of baby cards. I'm getting ready for a craft fair and I got all my cards together. And actually, I have a contest going on my Facebook page, inspired by Graham, and it shows all the boxes of cards I have. So the person that gets closest to the number without going over will be receiving. Let me just go grab them. Let's see. They are the Tinsel Gems 3 packs. I love these. And I just love the colors, and they're fresh. And I know I'm not sure if they're carrying over or not. I did not check, but great colors for spring. So those are going to be given away on, let's see, the 19th. So you have until midnight on the 18th of April to submit your number. One time only entry, please. That way I don't have like a million numbers to go through. But yes, I am getting ready for my craft fair. It's May 3rd. I haven't done a craft fair in a couple years. But my goal this year is to get back into it because I've got lots of cards to sell and I have lots of things I'm going to be making. And when I went through all the categories that I have, I noticed that I didn't have a lot of baby cards. So Storybook Moments specialty paper makes the best baby cards, I think. I don't have all I have is the designer paper, and I don't have the stamp set, I don't have the bundle, nothing like that. So what I did was I made a couple cards here that I'll go over with you, and I'll make them again with some paper pumpkin stamp sets. And are just mix and matched. What I do is when we get done a paper pumpkin every month, I just put them in a little one of our little clear stamp cases here. And that way I know if I'm looking for something in particular that I might not have, like Get Well Soon is a really good one. And what was the other one? Happy Easter or Happy Spring. Those are kind of, I don't have a lot of those in my stash. So I like paper pumpkin because I can always go back to these. Before we go into this class, I just want to do a couple reminders. I have my card club that is ready to go, and I've already marketed it. So you can see we're going to be using a lot of arches for the month of April. And we can take a quick look at these. Lots of colors that are going away. Wild Wheat. I'm so crying about that because it's one of my favorite colors. But here's one with Pretty Peacock. And this is just a thank you card, really quick, easy. And then we're using the basic beige ribbon. You'll get, I think it's 2 yards or 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we use the ribbon on every card. So back here on this one, you may not have noticed it. But it's got, oh, am I buffering? Hold on just a second. Let me just refresh. It might be buffering. I can't tell if I'm buffering or not. And my laptop just kind of like left me here. All right, let me just go back to my channel here. There's the live feed. Okay, I think we're good. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. We're having a really windy day today, just like yesterday. So who knows if it's going to be my internet or not. But Yes, so do you sell many cards at craft fairs? I want to do a craft fair but nervous. Cards won't sell as good as other crafty items. Well, I always bring my cards and I always do a special. Also, I'm selling mine. I like to sell mine so they get sold. In my demographic area, I sell my cards. I'm actually raising the price a little bit. So $3, or you can get what was it, 10 for $25, something like that. So always offer a special. And I find when I offer a special, people are going to gravitate more towards the deal than they will individual pricing. So yes, I have sold lots of cards and then some craft fairs. I don't sell many at all. So it just really depends on what people are really looking for. And how you display them. I display mine all in boxes, and I'll be doing a video. Hopefully I can do a video of my booth layout before the show begins, but I don't know. I have to carry everything in, and it's in a mall, and who knows about how long it's going to take to get out everything in. But anyway, yes, I do sell cards, but it all depends. And I also have lots of other things that people will draw people into my craft booth, like magnets, because those draw kids in. So kids, they're with their parents or their mom or their grandmother's aunts, sisters, brothers, whatever. So those kids are going to go into my booth. They're going to see those magnets, but they're pulling in their parents as well, or some other adults. So they'll take a look at my booth, and usually they'll say, "Hey, Mom, I want a magnet," and then they'll buy five magnets, and they might buy some cards and journals. So I always like to have something that attracts kids to gravitate all their parents and adults into my booth. So it's always a hit or miss. But back to the cards here. Here's that thank you card using the basic beige ribbon, just kind of going up along the seam. And Everyday Arches is kind of the die that I used consistently through every single card. Here's a hello card in Wild Wheat. Again, this is my favorite in color that's leaving us. So I do have some left, so I'm feeling comfortable that I can create enough card kits for everyone. So that is the hello. Let me just put this back here. I love our magnet boards. I don't think we have these anymore. They were on last chance, and I think they're all gone. But I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these, and I have all my classes on my wall, so I can I'm a visual person, so I like to see everything. Unbounded Love dies. I took some of those in here just for the foliage pieces here. You can see I've got Lost Lagoon here, pretty peacock, and some wild wheat. Just kind of fill in this area here. And I like You Are a Ray of Sunshine, and I use the arches to represent the sun. And then on the inside, we just adding designer paper here in a small little white piece, which is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And that way I can get my 6 panels out of one sheet of white, because we all know our cardstock prices are going up. So I'm trying to be a little bit more efficient on how I create my cards, so I don't break the bank. This one is purely white, and it's using our new embossing folder and Embrace the Journey. I love that. I could totally use this Embrace the Journey on today's cards, because we're making baby cards. So that would be a nice little sentiment I could pull into the baby cards as well. So this is my card club. Registration ends on the 20th of the month, every month. I have this on my website, inspiredbygraham.com, so you can see all the details. But you'll receive 8 kits and a half a pack of the designer paper. I think it's either 2 or 5 packs or yards of the ribbon, and the sequins. You'll get a full pack of those. And I love how they kind of really go with all this layout here. So anyway, it's $40 a month. It's a recurring subscription, or you can do a 1-month class for $44, or you can purchase a download PDF for $20. So that is that. And then also, if you're on my email list, you would have received my product share information. So I'm giving you lots and lots of choices to order specific things, or you can have the pretty much gotta have it all bundle. It's very pricey. However, you're going to get everything that I'm offering plus a stamp set of your choice up to a $25 value plus some rhinestone basic jewels. So check that out too. I don't think I actually have that on my website yet. I think I was working on it and got distracted. So I'll get that up later today. But today we are going to making some, like I mentioned, I think they're baby cards. I need to make baby cards, so this is what we're going to do. One of them I majorly failed on. It's the one in the middle, and I didn't see it, but I had my ink pad open. And of course, I got ink on the front of the card, and I tried to make it better, and I actually made it worse. So let me just show you the cards we'll be making today. And I'm not going to make the same exact one. Which I'll do is I'm going to show you how to cut the 12 by 12 paper that they're like, I'll show you the paper in just a second. They're like scrapbooking or kind of card layouts that does all the work for you. And then here we'll add something on the inside, and we've got our coordinating designer paper as well, which is on the front and on the inside of the card with that just yellow or a white panel. And then on the envelopes, what I did was I just glued on some kind of foliage or something that would look really nice on a front of the envelope. Those will still mail perfectly fine. And then here's the flub, like totally made a mess on this card. This was the start of it, and maybe I should have just left it like that. But what I wanted to do is make this like swoosh mark. Maybe I could fix it over here. Well, I made it even worse. So forget these pieces, and this is kind of something what we're going to be making, but a different characters. So you have my heart. I like the card that we're going to be making with this for this sentiment here. And then you can see how I just used one of those little die cuts that are all ready for us to use in some white and the same designer paper on the front. And then I just added another little kind of foliage piece there to the front. And then this is my favorite one. I'm going to call this a baby boy theme. Lots of love. And on the inside, what did I do? Oh, I added a sticker over here, and then I added congrats, and that is stamped in pecan pie. So we're going to start with this one first, and then we'll go through the other ones. And if you have any questions along the way, just put them in the comment box, and I will kind of go back and forth to check and see if you guys have any questions or not. But we're going to get started first. Let me just quickly show you the paper. And I've got bits and pieces of it left because I've used quite a bit of it. But one side has a nice little pattern. Either it's kind of like a garden theme, or it's just characters of squirrels and ducks and all, you know, I don't know what else, raccoons, all fun little creatures. And then on the other side, it's kind of got this like vintagey look. And this is the first time I've actually played with this paper. I really wanted to do a class with it, but I just ran out of time. And I don't know as if this is on a last chance or not. I don't actually think it is, so I might be able to come in back and do a class. Because look at right here, that's full of pumpkins. So you could make a nice little fall card with this one. And then there's acorns as well, so another fall themed card. And this is my favorite pattern on the back side of all the designs. And then here's what I was talking about, where I created the card that you just saw with this panel here. But today I'm going to be using this little chipmunk over here. And I'm also going to show you how to cut this paper too, because this can be a little intimidating if you're a first time kind of stamper. This is a nice little design too. And I was really confused, which way does the back side go? All right, so I always like to look at the front page, and when I flip it over, I think it's supposed to be going this way. But then I'm like, okay, does it look better this way? So I got a little confused on some of the patterns. So I just went with, if it's going this way, well, that reverse side is going that way as well. All right, so this one's fun too. It's got lots of blueberries, all kinds of berries, and we got some maybe cabbage or lettuce, carrots, so garden themed. And on the back side, we got some nice little strawberries. And we have to wait until July to get our strawberries up here. And then here's all the vegetables. So another craft fair item that I would do with this paper, because it's got the vegetables, is I would create a recipe book. And I've done those in the past. I use the little Dollar Tree photo albums that are like, I think they're like 4x6. And I add recipe cards in. I also will mount them on, if I find recipe cards that are smaller, I'll mount them on some designer paper too. And those sold really well. And I've got some of those albums in my closet, so I'm hoping to get to them. And then here's a nice little, just rustic kind of houses. And then here are the die cuts, and you get 2 pages of these. And they are super fun. This one, of course, my eyes just gravitated right here. But I also like all the little squirrels and chipmunks too. This guy looks a little not so nice, and I did use him on one of the cards because I needed a layout like this. But you can also make him look a little friendly too. Add a little Wink of Stella, that might help too. There's a nice little fence here, so you can make lots of different cards, 3D projects, tags, all kinds of good things. Journals too. I wanted to create a journal before I came on here, but it just lack of time, and I worked yesterday at my day job, so it just didn't fly for me to get it done. But maybe I'll show you one in another video down the road of what I created. Because I'm definitely going to be creating some of those, because you can create a journal with the vegetable paper, and you can create, you know, that could be a recipe book too. But let's get back to cutting this. Could be intimidating paper for somebody that is first time crafter. So what I do is I look at the designs first, and I try to, I find the line that is a straight line, meaning it goes down without something getting in the way, right? So you can't cut this down like this, because then you're going to be cutting these not correct. So what I do is I find the line that goes straight. So here's one this way, and then there's another one going this way. So I like to work with smaller paper. So I'm going to cut this one 6 into half, and basically I'm cutting it in half. So 6 by 12. And I'm just going to line up. Usually if you just put, with our Stampin' Up! Trimmers, you just slide this over to the 6-inch mark. And it should be this line going all the way. I always like to double check, just because sometimes it could be off. I think this one looks fairly close. I don't think it's perfect, but we'll see when I make that cut. I'm just going to cut that down like that. And then I'm going to check to make sure those are all nice and clear. There's no excess from the other side. So that one looks good. And then I'm going to take this one out of the trimmer and just double check to see if there's remnants from the other side. It looks good. So we'll start from this one. Now I find a straight line. So we've got a couple of them. We've got one right here, and we also have one right there. So I'm going to just cut this one in half, because it should be 6. It should end up being 6 by 6. And again, I double check to make sure I don't have any excess on this side or the other side. And then we just keep going. We just find those straight lines, and then just cut them down. And then here's another one. I like the 3x4 panels. They're so easy to use. All right, so here's those 3. And then we'll come back to this one, and we'll cut and make the straight line here. And make sure I'm right on that basically line. And then we'll turn the paper and we'll cut down this way as well. Okay, they all look pretty good. I didn't cut over into the other one and leaving excess on the other side. So those are looking great. And then we'll come back to this one. Again, we're gonna find those straight lines and then we'll be all done cutting this paper. I think all day long today, I'm going to be trying to finish up this paper and creating hopefully all different kinds of projects with it. All right, that one's so cute. And then here's one that's just a panel. You can either use whatever side you want on that one. Actually, all of them. If you don't want this little 3x4, you can use the back side. But I really like the 3x4 designs in the Storybook Moments. All right, so that is, that's how you cut that page, and you have 2 of those. So what I would do if you're using that full pack right away, I would just go and cut both of them, and then you would be done with your paper trimmer. So I'm gonna set that aside, and we're gonna create the girl version of the Lots of Love. Here's I'm gonna call this the boy version. And again, I use the, in the exposed brick 3D embossing folder, which is going to be available. It's not retiring, so that's wonderful. And then we're going to stamp congrats on the front side. So Lots of Love. You know, I don't have any baby stamps, so Paper Pumpkin is very helpful in that instance. When you don't have sentiments, you can kind of gather all, you know, if you have a Paper Pumpkin if you have a Paper Pumpkin subscription, you always, most time, always, you get 1 stamp set, and sometimes you get 2, depending on if it's a special where they'll add 2 stamp sets in there. So another reason why I like Paper Pumpkin. And Paper Pumpkin, subscriptions, you can receive Stampin' rewards on that. So every month, I'm a month-to-month person, but you can also purchase the 12-month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and still get your Stampin' rewards. So if you purchase the 12-month, then you'll get your Stampin' rewards up front. And Stampin' rewards are 10% of your order. So basically, if you have a $20 product order, you'll receive $2 from Stampin' Up! To be used on your next order, or you can actually save them and save them up to purchase something like maybe you don't have that large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Well, you can save up for that. That's what I'm actually saving up for, because I need 1 more for my classes. That way I can get rid of my Big Shot, which is, you know, it's not a Stampin' Up! Product. So I kind of want to get rid of that one. I'll sell that one eventually. But anywho, I'm gonna really like the rewards program. No more host codes, so you guys don't have to remember adding in a host code. Or if you forget, normally I would just call Stampin' Up! Or send them an email, just adding it to your order. But I am so happy, you have no idea, and I know a lot of other demonstrators are so happy not to have our host codes anymore. So, all right. I just stamped that, by the way, Lots of Love in Pecan Pie. And then I'm going to take my card base, which I got some of these card bases. I must have made a hot mess here. Where is my eraser? I thought I brought it over because I had a feeling I would need it. So there it is. I need to get another one of these. It came from the Dollar Tree, and my Dollar Tree is in New Hampshire and West Lebanon, and they never carry these. I actually found these in Connecticut when I was visiting my son and his family. And I grabbed about 12 of these to give to my participants of a retreat that I was having at that time. All right, on the inside we got congrats. So let me just find my congrats stamp. And we're gonna stamp that just kind of up top because I'm gonna add one of those little die cuts on the inside, okay? So that's very easy. And then I'm gonna sell these cards, so I'm gonna add my angel policy stamp that I have. You may have something different, so if you are selling your cards, make sure you have the copyright Stampin' Up on here, because that will, that's the right thing to do. You need to have that copyright on there. I'm gonna use my bone folder just to get this a little bit more workable, because I don't like how that card base is just coming up. Let me just really burnish that good. All right, so now that's laying a little bit more flat for me. I'm gonna grab my silicone craft sheets just to put under my work surface here. And I've got my exposed brick 3D. It's basic white and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to adhere this right down to the card front. There's no right or wrong way of adding this on, but what I like is I actually like to have this on the bottom. I just think there you can see a little bit more brick here than on up there. So I always choose to adhere my embossed panel with these bricks towards the bottom. So let me grab my glue and we'll get started adhering everything together. So I'm just going to use my liquid glue. I like to use liquid glue with embossed panels just because it's embossed and there's lots of different layers on here. I think, did I accidentally turn that around? Now I can't, yeah, no, this goes like this. All right, so I'm just gonna add this and center it right on the front of my basic white thick. And that was 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. You probably already knew that. Now I'm gonna take my Everyday Arches die cut, and I have a crumb cake die cut, and it's the one size larger. So this is number, from the outside, this is die number 3, and this is die number 4, if you have these and wanted to know what size I'm using. And we'll just adhere this one to the front of the crumb cake. And I'm just going to make sure my borders are all nice all the way around. Okay, and now we'll flip this over and grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And with this arch, any of the arches, you really have to kind of add a little bit more dimensionals than I would normally add to a card or a panel. I tried to get away with just 5 of them, and it didn't work on this card here, so I had to slide them underneath, but I think if you add 6 you should be okay. This area down here maybe not. I can always slide one in if I feel like I need to. And I'm just gonna peel these off. Let me grab my piercing tool because I'm a lot faster this way. And if you're doing this using your piercing tool to take those backings off, don't stab too hard, because then you're going to get a mark on the front side. Okay, so just a light little poke. You'll have a little hole there, but that's okay. All right, make sure your card's opening correctly. We don't want to put this on upside down or the wrong way. And then this just gets centered right on the front. Like that, kind of. And I'll just hold it this way, because when I'm putting together the cards from my angle while on a video, it doesn't look right. So I always kind of have to go like this to see it. All right, that looks pretty good. And now the die cuts I'm using, I chose for this card, is this cute little mama sheep in that cute, beautiful dress. And I'm probably going to adhere her probably the same way. So we'll put this one down, this little background of flowers here. And then this little duck is going to go on the inside. So I want her popped up, and I want this right down on the white. That way this card doesn't get too high. with all of the dimensionals. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of glue here and just simply add this right about here. And then we'll turn her over and add some dimensionals to the back side. And let's add 4 and press those down. And then we can just take the backings off. This one moves, so that one's already off. And then we've got this. I'm going to cover up this little stem area right there because I don't really like that. So I'm just gonna put her right about there. And also what I'm looking at is the distance over here. Let me grab my piercing tool so I can point to it. There's a little white here. So what I'm looking for over on this side is that I have a white space too. So I'm very particular about that. So I'm going to just slide her over just a little bit so I kind of have more of an equal distance of white space there. And we just press her down. And then on the inside, I'm going to add something. And I just thought, you know what, this duck doesn't go. I don't think it goes. So let's put that one aside and we'll grab the die cuts. And let me see if I can find something that's going to work a little bit better. It can be just a foliage piece as well. And I'm looking for something with that blue. So let's see. Oh, a butterfly could work as well. Or this little flower. This is the one I think I used on this one. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to take this little die cut out. And this is going to go on the inside. Let me put it over here again, or I'm going to put it over on this corner this time. That other card, the one I just showed you, the little boy card, Lots of Love, that on the inside had a little mark. Over on this side, it was little, you can see a little bit of it. I don't know what got on the white paper, but I just took the die cut and covered it up, and you guys never knew that there was a little mark, a black mark there. All right, so here's that one on the other side. And now our envelope, we'll take that. And no naked envelope, so you could stamp on this. You could add designer paper to the flap. But I like, with all the die cuts that we have and how small they are, I would just pick something out of here. And I like this little butterfly. So let's see if with this butterfly, we'll flip it over. Use glue. Don't use a glue dot. That way it's going to stay on your card, your envelope. And I'm going to just point him that way. So he's kind of facing up, or he or she. And to make it sparkle, everything sparkle, let's add a little bit of Wink of Stella and highlight some of the items, like the designs on, there's the envelope and her dress. What I would do is just those little kind of like creases of her dress is where I would add the Wink of Stella. And then maybe up on her top as well. And then we can just kind of just pop a little bit of Wink of Stella like that. So I don't know if you'll be able to see the little glitter on this little creases of her little dress, but they are there. There. Isn't that cute? We can add some elements, some embellishments, whatever. You can keep it plain. I took from my stock, I have these transparent adhesive back dots, and I'm gonna, since this is a lot of white, I'm gonna gravitate more towards these little white ones. And I'm just gonna sneak them in wherever I feel like I can to create my little triangle. So if I put one right here, and then let me take another larger one. There's 2 different sizes. And let's see. Now we can't put it here because then it's going straight up and down. We don't like that. So I'm gonna put this one, let's go right here. And then I'm gonna grab a little tiny one. And I don't know if I like it right there or not, but oh wait, what about if we go up top? Wait, up here. No, actually, I think it looks better in that place. So there, if you want to add embellishments, you can. Just choose something that's kind of a smaller, not like really, really large embellishment. Just something really, like rhinestone basic jewels would look great. I don't have any. I gotta order those. But I just kind of grabbed these because we got some greens in there and the whites, and I thought they would all match nicely. So, all right, so that's card number 1. Lots of love. So here is the little girl card. Congrats. And then I'll call this the little boy card with lots of love. Get the little hat, and then congrats. And there's that other little die that's adhered to the left side. And then on this envelope, I just added a little piece of foliage die cut there. So what's your favorite? This one, the boy, or the girl, or both? Let me zoom in just a little bit. Maybe you can see him a little bit better. And I'm going to see if there's any questions from you, and that way I can cover those. If not, then we'll move on to the next card. Oh, my cat is like, oh, it's snowing in Pennsylvania. Oh, awesome, Carla. Actually, up in northern Vermont, there's a ski resort called Jay Peak, and some of you may know. That place, resort is getting over a foot of snow today, so they can have it. Although I wouldn't mind it as long as it came and left the next day. Oh, can you show how those albums look, please? I haven't made one, Joyce, but I actually have them in my back room. Hold on just a second. So these are not albums, they're just journals, and I thought that this paper would look really nice on a journal, but here's a few that I've already got them packaged up and ready to go. But this is what I would do. I made this one on live with my grandma's ribbon, and just here's another one, just all different types of journals. They're composition books, basically. This is one's my favorite here. But for an album, I can show you, I'm not sure if you mean the recipe album or just an album in general, but if I go to my craft room closet and I will find an album, because I think they're, yeah, I got one. Yeah, I've already taken it out of the package because I think I was going to be doing something with it. All right, so these are photo albums, 48 pockets, 4x6 inch photos. But take it out, and these are just the clear sheets. Okay, so what I would do is depending on the recipe cards that I have, either they're portrait or horizontal, what I would do with the front and back cover is I would add some of the designer paper, and that's easy to do. You can just take this out because there's just little pockets. Okay, and then we would just add, I can actually do that for you. Let me just find one that looks like this one right here. That would work. So let me grab my paper trimmer. I'm getting off topic, but that's okay. I love your questions. And if I can help you out, that would be great. So don't throw this away yet. And I don't even have my ruler. So I'm gonna have to use my paper trimmer ruler. Mark's ruler's around somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I'm gonna measure this because this is not 4 by 6. This is the front. It is gonna be bigger. So let's see, if I'm going to cut it right about there. It is right there. So it is 4 5/8. So if I write that down, 4 5/8 going across. And then this, oh, it's bigger. So let's open this up. It's 6 and, boy, it's going to be hard to tell because I don't like those little notches on this gray part. So it's going to be probably, I would cut it 6 1/4. And then if I have to cut it down, I think I have to cut it down by 1 tick mark, but I'm not really sure. So I cut it 6, so 6 1/4 going this way. And depending on what your recipe cards are is how you're going to cut this designer paper. So if they're all going portrait, then you'll cut it this way. If they're all going horizontal, then you'll be cutting it this way. So I'm going to cut mine horizontal, and I'll cut it 4 by 5 5/8. So 4 5/8. And unfortunately, you can only get one out of this sheet because it's at 6 1/4. We're off by 1/4 of an inch. So if you want to just cut it in half at 6, then you're just going to have a little bit less paper on the front. So let me just cut this at 3 or 6 1/4. And then I'm going to slide this in to see how it, let's see, this way. Right? I gotta look. Wait a minute. This way. Okay, so I gotta slide it in this way. So it's a really tight fit at 6 1/4. So it's probably that 1 tick mark that I need to take off. So let me just do that. I wonder what 6 would look like. That way you could get 2. You could get a front and a back. So again, you want it to go this way. So just flip it over and then insert it this way. You know, I bet you could get away with 6. I'm going to try that for you because that's still a little tight. Actually, that's, I'll try it for you so then you guys will know. So again, we'll go like this, and then we just add this in. You could actually make a baby album with these little albums as well. Come on, slide in there. So it does have some, you can kind of see, and you could actually mount this on some cardstock, and that way you could be able to probably get away with it at 6. So let me grab, I'll do that. Let me grab some old olive. And I'm going to cut this at 6 1/4. No, 6 1/8, sorry. Oh, I don't like this. So that's 1/4, and then that's the 1/8 mark, I think. And then the other one was 4 5/8. So then I go to 4 3/4. And so what I would do, let me just tack this down with some Seal Plus. That way I'll know if it doesn't work, then I can reduce the paper. So this is just gonna have a really thin border on it. If this works, I would go back and glue this all the way down. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna work great. So you could, I think, just take your time. There. So that does work. So do cut your paper in half. That way you can get a front and you can get a back side of it as well. And then on here, you would make, you can print out recipe cards or you can purchase them. Sometimes you get them really, really cheap on clearance somewhere, like at Hobby Lobby. I think I got a bunch. So I know people use recipes from the internet, what have you. You can also print them out too. You can design here this green, or you could actually add another, like you could maybe put, let's see, this up here and layer it on maybe some wild wheat and just kind of decorate this side of it, or some designer paper in there. And then of course you would do the same thing on the back side. So that looks great. And then what I would do with this is I would add some ribbon to it, like the gold trim, which I do have here. I brought it over because I thought I might use it on one of the cards, but this is not on clearance or last chance. So I would decorate it up and just add a little bit of ribbon here. And I'd tie a knot first. And then, you know, spread this out, and then you could tie a bow. Oh, that's really cute, actually. And we're going to have in our new catalog, I know some of you have a catalog and some of you may not. Oh, it's raining outside. That's lovely. We're going to have the dies, some new dies, glitter dies, and they are going to be fabulous. I saw them on stage. So you could add like recipes, recipe book, whatever, Karen's recipes, Graham's recipes, and then just add them there. So I would probably sell something like this. I'd have to figure out how much of the designer paper I have in here, recipe cards, what have you, but I would probably sell this for $15 to $18, depending. I would have to put everything in because I don't really know. I used to sell them for 10, but that was a while ago, like maybe 5 years ago. Since I have that nice little bow on here, I'm just going to cut this off. And I'll work on some of these. I actually think I have recipe cards. So I'll make a recipe book for you guys, and I'll figure out how much of the expense I have in here and how much I would sell it for. And maybe I'll have that available on Monday's live, Monday at 7 p.m. So, all right. How do you guys like that? Do you like these little recipe books? I love them. All right, so let me see if there's any other questions, and then I'll move on to a card number 2. Also a stamped recipe and a die cut. Yep, that's right, Joyce. Perfect. Okay, so that's something I'll work on, so I'll put that aside. And I love all these little, the 3x4s, because those can be beneficial to a recipe book. All right, I'm closing this ink pad because I'm not gonna like make a mistake like I did. Never leave an opened ink pad in your workspace because you'll get something like this. And I tried to make it swishy on the other side and I made it worse. So what I'm gonna do off camera is I'm gonna try to take this off. I wanna try to take this off, or I can, because these are glued down, and that's the problem. Because I really want to salvage this piece. I'm going to try to and just create another card for it. But This is a card we're going to be making, but it's going to be a little bit different. Oh, I just love this card. I just looked over to the corner of my desk and I saw this one. I'm like, wouldn't you want to receive this in the mail? It's so cute. Easter's coming up. Maybe I'll send that one to Finley and Hudson. Mom and Finley are at Disney World and they are having a blast. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is the card we're making. My son gave Avery a Disney trip for Christmas. He found some really good flights, and so they are having a blast. Finley's 5 going on 6 in May, so next month he'll be 6, if you can believe that. He went on the, what is it, the Tower of something 5 times. Yesterday, they didn't get out of there until probably 9 o'clock at night. I'm sure they're still sleeping. He just wanted to keep going on that and on it and on it. And man, oh man, you wouldn't get me on that thing. But a terror of something. I don't know, horror or something. I don't know. Oh, shoot. I got a stamp on this. Uh-oh. It's too late. Well, I'm going to have to try to stamp on it. All right, so get that straight. Let's go back to the card here. This is Wild Wheat, and it's 5.5, 8.5 by 4 1/4. And then I've got some of the Storybook Moments backside of one of the vintage. So this is, I call it the vintage side, is cut 5 1/4 by 4, and then I've got one of the arches dies, which make sure you get these. I know they're very hard to get because they seem like they're always on back order, but you just never know when they'll come available. Highly recommend. And then here's the one I'm going to make, and I'm going to put this little duck here. And I'm going to have "You Have My Heart" as my sentiment. So now I need to figure out where that is going to go. And I'm going to use Old Olive ink because that is the green that's in the, here's the bow. If you can see, there's a little bow there. That the green is Old Olive. And then I have this other little cute little duck I'll put on the inside. So both of these are going to get popped up. I do know that. I'm pretty sure. But let's figure out where I can stamp. So if I put this one over here, and I kind of put them closer to one another. And then my stamp. Okay, I think if I stamp it up in the right corner there, everything will fit. And if I go this way, well, then that looks like it's lost. Okay, so I'm going to stamp on the right side, and hopefully I get this on the first try, because if I don't, then I'll have to figure something else out. So we'll just stamp this up here. We'll hold it down a little bit longer. There, I got it. So Old Olive ink. It's very dark because I did re-ink this one. And now we'll come back to here. Maybe. Oh, look at that. If I add 2 of them, isn't that cute? My goodness. Oh, so which one do I pop up? Mama is going to get popped up. So probably 3 of these dimensionals will work. So don't forget to go over to my Facebook page, Inspired by Graham, and enter into my contest. So you can take a guess as to how many cards are in all of those boxes. And those are all the cards I'm going to bring to the craft fair. All right, so this one's going to get adhered straight down to the white, and then the other one will get popped up. I want to kind of turn it a little bit so that little baby's kind of looking up at mama. And then 2 little dimensionals for here. And then we'll just overlap these 2. And make what this little yellow one a little bit lower. Oh, that's so cute. And now on the inside, we'll take that same designer paper and we'll add it to the inside. And this is cut 5 1/4 by 4. And then I've got a white panel, which is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then I could stamp on there if I wanted to, but on this card here, the crazy messy card, I just added one of those little foliage pieces. So let's bring in those little die cuts again. And let's see. Look at this one. Like this little, like, gerbil maybe. It's in that teacup. It's so cute. Let's see. Ducks. I don't want to use the same ones. So I got to look for some foliage that, oh, or a butterfly. Maybe a butterfly. I'm going to take this foliage piece here. Because I could add some more, I could add foliage here if I wanted to, get really into this. But I kind of like it just with that white background there. So I'll add that one to the inside, and then the little duck here will be on the envelope. So grab my envelope and we'll add this one. Come on. Add them right there. And then this little piece of foliage we'll add to the inside. We'll add it over here. And then I'll look and see if any of these embellishments will work with this one. They might be a little bit too dark, but let's check. A pop of green would look really nice. Now I know this is Granny Apple Green and that's Garden Green, but let's see. I can always take these off. If I add a little one, larger one and a smaller one over here, and then a little tiny one down here. I think that works okay. It kind of fills in the white spaces. So that is card number 2 for you guys. Let me just straighten up my desk here. All right, so this is the one I made with you. And you know what? I didn't add Wink of Stella to it, but we can. And how about the little scarf? And then this little blue area, and then the bow tie. And then on the inside, we could just kind of add a little bit on the green. And then on the envelope, you can come back and just a little bit on the bow tie. There, that's cute. All right, so here's that one. And then here's this one. And if you're just coming on, I had pre-made this one as a sample. And then I made this one on the live. Okay, so we have one more to go. And it's going to be something different than, of course, the one I made. So let's clear this up. And we'll add our next kit here, which is Sending Love. And on the inside, just that, here's that little butterfly. This one is going to be, oh, and then here's the envelope with that just little foliage piece. So this one, can't even remember what I took out. So the little squirrel. Now these cards are very easy to make. They're just lots of different layers. So I'm using Lost Lagoon, which unfortunately is going to be leaving us. So our Lost Lagoon is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then our Storybook Moments is 4 by 5 1/4. And we'll just take our glue and add it to the back side. And then add it right here. Okay, and then we'll take our little chipmunk, which is 3 by 4, and then I just cut the Lost Lagoon 1/8 of an inch larger, so 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and we'll just add that to that panel. I do know I want to pop this one up, so let's grab our dimensionals. And if you add them about 1/2 of an inch in from the edges, you can get away with just adding 4 and not 5. So you'll save a dimensional. And then we'll just take these backings off real quick. And I'm just going to place this right here for right now. Because I'm not sure what I want to put on here for a sentiment. Let me just look at my paper pumpkin stamps here and see if anything kind of jumps at me. Best of luck. That would work for baby. Celebrate love. This is from the Valentine's one. You're my favorite. That's cute. Hello spring. Hello Easter. To a wonderful friend. Those are not really baby. And then this one here is happy birthday, thank you, get well soon, just a note and best of luck. Well, we've already used, or did I use best of luck? No, I haven't used best of luck. I might do that. I just don't know what I'm going to stamp on though, because I didn't get any dies. No die cuts, so what I can do is just find a strip of paper, cut it 1/2 inch, and let's see what I can do. Let's grab a block. I'm gonna add Pretty Peacock because I like the darker bluish green color. And find my piercing mat so I can stamp and get that cushion. It's a little crooked. Let me see if I can get it better. I'm going to try one more time. I got enough space here. That's better. So I'll just take my paper snips and angle cut this one. Also, let's try this too. I got another idea. I can either go all the way across and just trim this down, or I can pop it up. And if I was to angle cut it, I need to get it closer. I don't know if I like that. I think I might like it just straight. And I'm going to use my piercing tool just to make a little mark here where I need my cut line. And then over here. Because I want the best of luck centered. And then I'll find that and put that little tick mark in the slot there. This is Wing It Wednesday, so I am winging it. I actually think I need to go down and meet it to the end of the designer paper because that looks a little strange. So let's just take 1/8 of an inch off here. Need a little bit more. That's good. Yeah, I like the straightness, actually. And I'm going to, do I pop it up or not? Oh, you know what? Let me just take this off. I just thought of something. See what this will look like. I got an idea. Let's see if I can run with it. So I'm just gonna grab my Seal Plus. And I'm gonna add this open weave trim to the back side here and wrap it around. Actually, wait a minute. Add some adhesive there, and then I'm gonna pinch this right here and then wrap it around. I'm gonna have to put another dimensional there. because it's being covered up by that trim. And then this is going to have dimensionals as well. I need to lift it up off that trim. It just adds a little bit of background to it. And now I can press this little 3x4 piece down. Okay. And then on the inside, we'll grab our designer paper and our panel. Hey, how does this look like? We open it up like this. No, it's going to be the other way. And let me just find something that'll go on the inside. Let's see. It's that little chipmunk. I think maybe this, oh, this one right here. This is fun. Kid friendly. It's not, yeah, I guess it is a chipmunk. Yeah, let's add that one. It's got Lost Lagoon in there too on the pants. And I'll add them to the left side. And now I'll just take my Wink of Stella and just maybe the little net and the butterflies. And then on the front, I'm going to just glitter up his scarf. There. Embellishments, I'm not sure if I want to put any on or not. Let's try the white. I feel like we kind of have to because we did on the other two cards. So we'll see if we can get away with 3. How about right over here, just slightly down from that one. That way we've got our triangle. There. Okay, so, oh wait, the envelope. We'll just take this one. It's vegetable, but I don't, it's cute. It's got a beat. But I'm going to put him on the envelope. And I know it's not, it's a, is that a rabbit? There. Okay. So we've got that one. And we have the Sending Love. And then we have, so I would say that would be girl, this would be boy, this is girl, boy, girl and boy. So there you go. There you have it. Storybook Moments is so fun to work with. I hope you have a pack. I believe it's still on back order. Unfortunately, I did not check this morning before I went on, came on live, but it'll eventually come back. So you just have to keep checking. That's all I have for you guys. Let me just see if there's any other questions or comments that I need to address. Same kind of tick marks from the stamp pad touching your card around the outside edges. Oh, honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I was thinking of taking a sponge dauber and bringing it all the way around too. That's a good idea, Rebecca. Thank you for that. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any questions that I need to answer. So I'm going to sign off because I've got lots to do today. And one being cleaning up my desk so I can get started. Probably creating, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll make that recipe book. But I don't have the new dies, but I have some that I still think are carrying over. So I probably could create that recipe book for you guys, which I kind of halfway made already. It's this one right here. I just love this little trim on here. I'm going to put a mini glue dot under here so it's not so loose. But I will show you guys this on Monday. How about that? All right, you guys, have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend coming up. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. And I hope it's not snowing in your area. All right, you guys, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you.